Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. Last night was the go-home edition of Monday Night Raw for Money in the Bank, which is this coming Sunday live on pay-per-view. NoDQ.com will have all the latest news and rumors regarding Money in the Bank, and of course, live pay-per-view coverage on Sunday. Got a lot of questions here regarding Raw, Money in the Bank, and other topics, so let's get right down to it. First one today comes from Hawaii Dens. Aloha, Aaron. What did you think of the Wyatt family debut? And do you see the Brothers of Destruction reunited for SummerSlam? I also got another question here from Tommy C21. Who do you think had a better debut, the Shield or the Wyatt family? Both were great, but I think creative did the Wyatt family perfect. Your thoughts? I thought that WWE did a tremendous job with the Wyatt family. You know, they've done all these promos over the past several weeks, hyping them up, and it's generated a lot of buzz. Everyone's been talking about the Wyatt family. There's been a lot of anticipation for their debut, and WWE opened up Raw with a Wyatt family promo, and there were several promos throughout the show leading up to their debut. So WWE really pushed them hard, and they came out, attacked Kane, and I think that that was a good way to debut him. You know, it wasn't as big as the Shield's debut in the sense that the Shield came out and interfered in the main event at Survivor Series, but still a big debut for them to come out and attack one of the legends in WWE, Kane. Now the question is, will this lead up to a Brothers of Destruction versus Wyatt family match at SummerSlam? The speculation was that it would be Undertaker and Kane versus the Shield. But Undertaker's status for SummerSlam is very much up in the air at this point. Undertaker is legitimately injured, and it's still unknown if he will be ready to go for SummerSlam. It's still unclear what's going to happen with him. But you know, I'm not sure which match would be the better way to go, because they already built up Undertaker and Kane versus the Shield, because the Shield laid out Undertaker, and it would make sense for him to come back and get his revenge on the Shield. So not really sure which direction WWE's heading in at this point, but hopefully the Wyatt family has something big for SummerSlam. WWE's put a lot into them, and it's looking like something with Kane, so I'm not sure. But regardless of what happens, I think that the Wyatt family should have a key match at SummerSlam, considering the fact that WWE has invested so much into them already. But yeah, I mean, so far so good with them. I mean, definitely a very solid debut. And another question here from Hawaii Dens. After the Orton versus Punk match, Daniel Bryan attacked both of them, and the fans still cheered. Vince has now got to see that Bryan is ready to run with the ball and win Money in the Bank. Your thoughts? The thing that I thought was interesting about this ending to Raw is that it seems to me now like Daniel Bryan's not going to win at Money in the Bank, because usually the guy that gets the upper hand on the final segment before the pay-per-view ends up not winning. And not only did Daniel Bryan beat Sheamus, but he laid out both Randy Orton and CM Punk. So WWE made Daniel Bryan look really strong, and usually when WWE wants you to think a certain way, they do something different because they don't want it to be predictable. And since everyone thinks Daniel Bryan's going to win, you know, I have serious doubts that he will win. Now, will this hurt him not winning Money in the Bank? I mean, they can still work around it and have him lose Money in the Bank and still get a title shot for SummerSlam. They can do something on Raw next week where Bryan wins a multiple-man match and gets the title shot. So, I mean, they can do that. That's fine. You know, maybe WWE's going to put the briefcase on somebody else, maybe Randy Orton, who knows. But I would say at this point, anything's possible, and I don't think that Daniel Bryan is at all a guarantee to win Money in the Bank this year. But he is the clear favorite. On NoDQ.com, the poll on the website, pretty much everybody voted for Daniel Bryan. He won by a landslide. So he's the guy that everyone's predicting. But if WWE feels that it's too predictable, you know, they'll go with somebody else. All right, this one comes from Lauderdale19144. Hey Aaron, I see Mark Henry winning the WWE Championship, then retiring right after. What do you think will happen at Money in the Bank with Mark Henry? Well, I don't see Mark Henry winning the WWE title, and as I mentioned with the Daniel Bryan question, Mark Henry laid out John Cena. He held up the title. He got the best of John Cena. John Cena could not pick up Mark Henry for the Attitude Adjustment. So the way I see it is that at Money in the Bank, John Cena will once again overcome the odds. He will pick up Mark Henry for the Attitude Adjustment and beat him and go on to SummerSlam to defend the WWE title. So, I mean, that's what I see happening. I would be very surprised to see Mark Henry win the title. It would be cool to see him win because he's been with the company so long and he's been loyal. But based on how the booking has gone leading up to Money in the Bank, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think the safe bet is Cena retaining here. All right, this one comes from Kayfabe Candy Ass. Aaron, would you say that it was a bit of a burial when Wade Barrett knocked out Fandango for Fandango? I kind of like Fandango, but WWE was way off after Mania thinking he was going to be some massive star because a few drunk fans danced to his theme. Well, yeah, it certainly seems like WWE has cooled off on Fandango, and as a matter of fact, when I gave my predictions a few weeks ago, I completely forgot about Fandango. I didn't even mention him as a possibility to win. So it would surprise me to see him win, especially how he was handled on Raw. But once again, I don't think you can rule anybody out. I think that WWE could change their minds about who wins at the last minute. And, Wade Barrett is definitely a favorite for a lot of people. And, on NoDQ.com, he got the second most votes after Dean Ambrose. So, my safe prediction is Ambrose or Barrett to win Money in the Bank. But anything can happen, as they say in WWE. But yeah, it definitely seems like Fandango is cooled off, and perhaps WWE is done pushing him really hard. So, I mean, time will tell. This one comes from Dead Man Streaking, okay? Hey, Aaron, is it just me, or did you find the Vickie Guerrero and Vince McMahon family segment pointless and boring? I think Vickie has already gone stale and just seems like she's just there as a time filler for Raw. Your thoughts, please answer in video. Well, I definitely feel that Vickie Guerrero in the GM role has been played out for a while now. With that being said, I actually found that segment to be very entertaining. I thought Vickie did a tremendous job, and her screaming and crying. I was really entertained by it. I enjoyed it, and I do think it is time to go in a different direction, though. Brad Maddox is now the GM. Not so sure about that, but the whole storyline is that Vince is making Brad Maddox GM to punish everybody because he's that boring and he's that lousy as a personality. So I mean, it's kind of funny in that regard. So I'm curious to see where they go with it, and I think Vickie will still be involved and she'll try to get her job back or whatever. So at least it's doing something. I mean, just the way it's been for the past several months with just Vickie coming out and making matches. I mean, that got old. So I'm glad they're at least doing something different. But I hope Vickie's still part of the show because, I mean, I thought she was tremendous on Raw. All right, this one comes from Salers215. Hey, Aaron, what did you think of the Ryback and Vickie segment? Personally, I thought it was totally unnecessary for his character. It almost seems as if WWE might be giving up on Ryback. You don't think? That was a really bizarre segment. I have to agree with you here. I'm not sure why they had to do that segment, and it really did nothing to build up Ryback versus Chris Jericho. But, I think you got to try something different with Ryback at this point, and maybe adding more dimensions to his character is the way to go, and giving him some emotion and making him cry back or whatever. I don't know. But, yeah, it definitely seems like the days of Ryback being pushed as the monster are over. And, that could be bad for his career because that was really the one thing he had going. But, I guess you got to try something different with the guy. If, one way of pushing him is played out, you got to experiment and see what you can do with his character. So, I mean, that's really all they can do at this point. All right, this one comes from Daniel Flay29181. What did you think of Mick Foley as a commentator? I thought he was tremendous. I really enjoyed the duo of Jim Ross and Mick Foley on SmackDown. I thought that they were great, and it was a breath of fresh air. And it's just a shame that Vince had to keep talking into Mick Foley's earpiece and kind of making Mick Foley disgruntled, and he ended up leaving the company because of it. I think that that's really unfortunate. I thought that Mick Foley and Jim Ross could have had a long run together, and only went for something like 6 months. So I was definitely bummed out about that. I thought Foley was really good, and hopefully someday maybe he'll come back to doing commentary, and Vince will give him more creative freedom and let him do his own thing, because I thought he was great. All right, last question here today from Anonymous. Just saw an old clip of what Heidenreich did to Michael Cole backstage. For those of you that haven't seen that segment from years ago, Heidenreich all but raped Michael Cole in the backstage area during the segment. And his question here is that what Chyna did to you before or after she threw you over the sofa? So for those of you that haven't seen it, let me paint the picture here. The end of 2004, New Year's Eve, myself, Mike Nagel, Jeff Meacham, we went to Chyna and Sean Waltman's house for New Year's Eve. We were going to record some stuff for Extreme Mayhem Video, the show we were doing at the time. And Chyna was a little out of it. Let's just put it that way. And she started putting stamps on everybody. I don't know why. I don't even remember. I'm not even going to try to reason as to what she was doing. But yeah, she wanted to put a stamp on me, and I was kind of like, no thanks, I don't want to do this. And she insisted on it, and Jeff grabbed the camera, and Chyna kind of went crazy at this point. She threw me over the couch and started spanking me or whatever. I mean, the video is on the YouTube channel. You can just do a quick search for it, Chyna XMV, and it should be the first video that pops up. And it's really dark, you can't see much, but yeah, that's me being thrown over the couch, and just watch the video. I think it explains itself. But yeah, not my finest moment, let's put it that way. And no, she did not rape me, thankfully. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A Video. Thanks as always for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you did, tell a friend on Facebook or Twitter. Keep spreading the word, and don't forget, WWE Money in the Bank live pay-per-view coverage this Sunday, NoDQ.com. See you next time for more No DQ&A Video.